The 2021 season kicked off with the Daytona 500 and Mr. Worldwide.
Drivers, start your engines, let's go! Yeah!
We saw the first-time winner Michael McDowell take home the Harley J. Earl Trophy.
Way to get a first victory at Daytona 500, are you kidding me?
The whole field got shaken up by an early Stage 1 wreck, and then Mother Nature showed her hand. Bumps of glory or the destruction of Daytona. We sit down with the reigning champ who's chasing Gordon on the road courses. See what I did there? Plus, we have a Petty in studio. Tighten those belts and hold on.
Hello, race fans. Welcome to a new season of Backseat Drivers. We're back and better than ever. I'm Alex Weaver here in Studio 3, and we have a very special guest joining the crew. Kyle Petty from NBC Sports is here. Welcome to the Motley Crew.
Thank you very much. It's fun to be here. It's been fun so far, I will say that.
Entertaining, to say the least. Well, we started the 2021 season. It's officially kicked off. Michael McDowell gets his first career win in the NASCAR Cup Series in 14 years. It comes on the biggest stage, the Daytona 500. First race, the 34 is locked into the playoffs. Kyle, what did we think of Sunday night's action?
You know what? I thought it was entertaining. I will give it that. A lot of wrecks, man. It took out a lot of good contenders. And I'm not a huge fan of that type of racing. I will say that because I grew up a little bit with a different type of speedway racing than what we see today. But, you know, there were fans still watching it. So I got to give it I'll give it a B-. I'll give it a B-. So I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Always a good time seeing a first-time winner. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but 2001, 2011, and 2021 have all been first-time winners of the Daytona 500. Interesting little stat there for you.
Freakish stat right there, okay?
So before we get into all of the storylines from the Daytona 500, I first want to welcome in a member of the original, the OG Backseat crew. Jonathan Merriman is joining us from home. JM, here we go, 2021. You ready?
I know. I can't think of a better way to kick it off than arguing with old KP here.
Yeah, we'll make sure to get some arguing in. So let's start with what we saw on lap 14, 15. Yes. We knew that the intensity when it comes to superspeedways ramps up. I don't know if we expected it basically on the pace laps or entering stage one, but whose fault was it? We saw a lot of Twitter chatter after the
Lots
race.
of Twitter chatter, and you're putting me on the spot right off the bat. But
Always.
I am a believer that the guy that holds on the steering wheel is responsible for what the car hits. And Christopher Bell ran into Eric Almirola. So if I go out here on college and run in the back of somebody, I get the ticket. I get the ticket because I hit him from behind. Yes, he got a huge push from Kyle Busch. But Kyle released him. Kyle released him and gave him an opportunity, and still he got up there. He hit him once. Eric got it back. Then he hit him the second time, and it was the second time that really put him in that position. So I'm going to have to. It's not the spotter's fault. It's not the crew's fault. I have to put this one on Christopher.
All right, Merriman, you agree?
I agree to a certain extent. First off, let me say I've never been behind the wheel of a race car at Daytona, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but I have been watching this for about 20 years. So my point of view is if it wasn't Christopher Bell wrecking or causing that wreck, it was going to be somebody else. What I mean by that, it's a product of how they race. It was really early in the day. We're talking 15 laps into this thing, and people are racing like it's the last lap. Now, you know, and it's if you get caught up in that, that's on you. Do what Denny Hamlin did. Drop to the back. He avoided that. He made the smart move. He looked like the smart person at the end of the day there. But, you know, I just think it's a product of these guys just being really antsy and shoving each other so hard this early in the race. If it wasn't Christopher Bell at lap 15, it probably would have been somebody else in the next 5 laps the way those guys are racing that early.
And listen, that's a great point. I'm not going to suck up to you and agree with everything you say, but that's a great point. But here's the interesting part. You sound like you were Tom Cruise on Days of Thunder. No, I've never driven a race car, but I watched it on TV. So I can do this. So I like that. But at the same time, 40 cars, 30 cars, whatever they run now, I don't even know. They all can't drop to the back. They all can't drop to the back. On lap one, sorry. Yes, Denny Hamlin has that luxury because of where he's at in points, the caliber of driver, the team he drives for. But everybody doesn't have that opportunity. But I do agree. I think they came off this winter. A lot of these drivers have been pumped up since they got there for the shootout, for the clash, whatever they call that race now. It's changed so many times in my lifetime. And we saw it all week long, just the anticipation of being back in a race car.
Well, frustration was high all night long. We know that frustration is pretty much always high for Kyle Busch, it seems like, and his night ended on the last lap. He has never won the Daytona 500. We know Kyle is all about checking those boxes. Merriman, will he ever win the Daytona 500?
I don't know. I mean, if you listen to him talk on the radio, odds are he's not going to. But, I mean, you think about the equipment he's in. He's running Joe Gibbs Toyota Camrys. He's got fast race cars. Does he have the capability? Yes, but this just might be, the one race that we saw like with Tony Stewart. He could just never get it done in the Daytona 500. It never shook out. He was up front late. Bad things happen. Not everybody gets that, Dale Sr. 1998 moment, and Kyle might not get his.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree. I'm not sure. It took Dale Sr. forever. It took Darrell Waltrip forever. It's just one of those things that I think you get to that tipping point where you begin to put so much pressure on yourself that you're trying to make something. I just find it interesting that, and I'm going to sidebar here for one. I find it interesting that you were talking Kyle Busch. Now, Kyle Busch is if you listen to him talk, he mentions listening to him talk. If you listen to him talk, when he runs second, he's got the worst race car in the world.
Terrible.
So you can't, it's tough to really go off what he says. But I find it interesting that you've got guys like Kyle Busch with 50-plus wins, like Brad Keselowski with 30 or 40 wins, whatever. These guys, and we talked about Dale Sr., we talk about these other guys. And then you move to the other side of the column, and it's Trevor Bayne, 1 win, Daytona 500. Michael McDowell, 1 win, Daytona 500. And it's like, oh my gosh, how did this guy get 1 and this guy got 50 or 60 races, but they didn't get the big one? I think another issue for Kyle Busch is he's with a great team. And we talk about Denny Hamlin and how good he is on the speedway race. Kyle Busch is not the best speedway racer in a team of really good speedway cars. So that's another mark against him right now. So it's going to be, I'm not going to say he's not going to ever get it, but it's going to be tough for him.
Well, you led me right into the next point. His teammate, Denny Hamlin, a driver who's usually never caught up in the drama, and whether that's a making of his own doing or just the luck of the Hamlin at Daytona, he puts himself in the right place at the right time. He has a feel for these super speedways. Is he the best super speedway racer of all time?
Yeah, listen, that's good. That's good, and it made me laugh, so that's good. Thank you very much. And that's like, I saw a thing where they were comparing Tom Brady and Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time with all these rings, and Bill Russell raises his hand and say, I'm in that conversation too. And he is. So honestly, you can't compare from one era to another. I think Denny Hamlin is one of the best speedway racers right now. He is with arguably the best speedway team right now.
Agreed.
I will say that. And I've seen Joey Logano win a race with what I thought was a 3rd or 4th place car, but control the race once he got to the lead. And that's what he did last night. He was controlling the race. I think Denny has that knack, and Denny has that air of confidence when he goes to Daytona. Earnhardt had that air of confidence. Richard Petty had that air of confidence when they rolled into Daytona. And when you look at him and you're a competitor, you say, that guy's got it. That guy's got it. I'm going to follow him wherever he goes. And people fall in line. So I think he's arguably the best of this time, but not of all time.
All right, Jonathan, we always pick Denny Hamlin when it comes to these super speedways. So what do you think?
For me, I'm kind of in the same boat as Kyle. I go back to, all the races that his dad won at Daytona, all the races that Dale Sr. won at Daytona and at Talladega. I think back to Talladega when Dale Jr., ripped off 4 in a row. Now, if Denny Hamlin wins 3 Daytona 500s in a row, I think you have an argument to say that flat out, no one's ever done this when the pressure's on. This is the best guy ever at a super speedway. But I think he's elite, and I think he's in the conversation. I don't think he is, a clear front runner for that. You got to think there's so much history, and like Kyle said, over so many eras, so many body styles of cars, so many models of cars, and so many styles of racing. Not too long ago, we were talking about tandem racing, and that's a completely different thing. So I think Denny Hamlin is the best right now, what he's able to do behind the wheel. But look, Ryan Blaney's not that far behind. Austin Dillon, he's proved himself to be pretty good. I don't think he's, in the elite level that Denny is. But right now, yes, of all time, I would say no for Denny.
All right, well, Denny may disagree, but I think he was going after that third. He
For
definitely
sure.
wanted it. Well, the hot take of the week in my mind, not sure if it's exactly a hot take, but I always love a feel-good story. But the feel-good story for me coming out of Speed Weeks, Austin Cindric, not only in the 33 car for the NASCAR Cup Series, his first ever start, but he was also driving the 22, gets the Xfinity Series win, had luck in the duel for the NASCAR Cup Series with his qualifying speed, and then has a shot to win there at the end of the Daytona 500. I mentioned his first ever career Cup start, gets taken out on the last lap with, I'm pretty sure, the rest of Team Penske. May have had a chance up front. How do you feel about Austin Cindric?
You know what? I think this kid has come a huge distance, in an incredible way in his career, since COVID started, to be honest with you.
True.
If we go back to 18 and 19, I used to refer to him as Cindric the Entertainer. You know what I mean? Because he was going to hit something. He was just going to be in the wall somewhere. He was going to crash somebody. He was going to do something. And it was like, and then get out and scratch his head like, I don't know what happened right there, But last year, he fell into a rhythm. And in that rhythm, he learned every lap, every week. He got better and better and better. And I think this year he's picked right up. And even over the winter, he's taken it up a notch to show up at Daytona for the Xfinity race, to make the Cup race and run with this group of guys, and be there in the mix and them trust him because they've watched him on Saturdays. That was very, very impressive. That was an impressive story. I think this may have been his debutante ball right here. His coming out party may have been this Daytona 500, even though it ended on the hook.
Well, Jonathan, we know that Austin Cindric's future, at least for the foreseeable future, he has a Cup Series ride for 2022 over there at Wood Brothers Racing. Does it help his chances, add a little bit of confidence over there to OAC?
Yeah, and I think the thing for me is, I think there's a lot of lore behind the Daytona 500. I think there's something to say for trying to get him some seat time on some oval tracks. But we all know that this kid's bread and butter are the road courses. I would have kept the car on the trailer or brought a different car down for this coming weekend on the Daytona road course, because I think he's one of the guys that can get in one of these cars and give Chase Elliott, give Martin Truex Jr. a run for their money. He ran really, really well in the Daytona 500. He's going to have, I think they said, 5 to 7 opportunities this year to get behind the wheel of a Cup car. I'm hoping a couple of those are going to be at the road courses. But the seat time at the ovals is valuable. But I would much rather see him be up front and challenging for a win in a Cup car on a road course than at Daytona, just because you can't control as much at Daytona. Some people say you can't control as much at a road course, but Chase Elliott's figured that out. So I would have much rather seen Austin Cindric on the road course this coming week.
Well, we'll make sure that over there at Team Penske you're in the check signing meetings next week. We know that NASCAR is a team sport. There's some tough men and women down on pit road working on the weekends. A friend of the show, Rocco, knows all about winning a championship from behind the wall. Here's his take on this week's pit road performers in a new segment we like to call Crew Corner.
You either like the feel-good story or you like the ballers. And Denny's a baller, and he balled out. He dominated, won the first 2 stages. He led 98 of 200 laps. But what he did not do is maintain position with his teammates. When all team orders, let me explain to you what team orders is. Team orders is Ford's coming down together, Chevy's coming down together. What else do we have in there? Coming down together. Why is that important? Super speedway tracks, if you do not come together, you will get freight trained, as we saw, 5 to 7 miles per hour faster. Then he came down with his pack, with his crew. They were doing it. But when he left, he was about 100, 200, 3 football fields ahead of all of his teammates, with the Fords hawking him down, single file.
Well, speaking of pit road, a major shift in the race was the number 11 just being too good on pit road. Denny Hamlin gets shuffled out of the way in the front of the rest of the pack of the Toyotas. So, Merriman, let's start with you. Did getting split up while pitting with 25 to go cost Denny Hamlin his 3rd consecutive Daytona 500 win?
Yeah, I would say yes. And I think when you said that they were too good on pit road, for some reason, the image of Earnhardt with his shirt open and the undershirt that says, "Damn, I'm good on it," popped up in my head because, look, Joe Gibbs pit crews are fantastic. I think that the way that they pitted, I think they probably should have timed it to try to pit with the Chevys or something like that, because there's only 5 Toyotas out there. Ford, I think, has got the biggest contingent. But that and being too good on pit road, I think, cost him. I will say Denny, took matters into his own hands when he got back on the racetrack and got blended, and that group of Fords shot by him. Denny cut up. Him and Kyle split that group of Fords, and he cut Austin Dillon off to stall that, second line's momentum and to catch back up. So, I think Denny still had a chance there at the end, but if he could have maintained the lead and controlled the front of that race and not let Logano get up there and not let the Fords pass, Denny Hamlin would have 3 Daytona 500 championships in a row.
Yeah, candy and nuts. We know that story about Christmas, don't we? Every day would be. So let me say, this is an interesting conversation because we talk about Denny being so good on pit road, and we had a conversation about Denny being the greatest of all time. So why is he not sitting here with his 3rd trophy? It's about alliances. It's about team racing. It's about being with your manufacturer. And we heard Meredith right there. And it's a perfect analogy where he talks about they split up the Ford contingent. That's right. But the Ford kept their contingent. Toyota didn't keep their contingent. Sorry. That's how simple it is. Whether one driver was good or 3 drivers were bad or 3 drivers were great and 1 driver was bad, doesn't make any difference. Their contingent got split up, and they got sent back out on the racetrack to war, and it was 1 on 30. It's what it seemed like. So I think when you look at it, if the race had played out the way the first 75% or 80% of the race, Denny Hamlin's sitting here, and we're talking about a historic moment in this sport. But that's why we run all the way to the checkered flag. And that's why you have Michael McDowell as a winner. You never know what's going to happen until they throw the checkered flag. But yes, his night changed drastically on pit road. Whether it was because he was the best, whatever reason he wants to put on it, doesn't make any difference. The night changed on pit road.
It is also unusual to hear Denny Hamlin say that they're too good on pit road. Not a credit to his crew, because we know that Joe Gibbs Racing has some of the best pit crews on pit road, but most of the time Denny has a lead foot when it comes to pit road. So I'm just surprised Denny said he was too good on pit road this time.
That's true. The guy with the most speeding penalties on pit road in the history of NASCAR talks about being too good. But you're exactly right. But you know what? I have to give that team, and the 11 teams specifically, I don't believe even that last pit stop, even coming off pit road, everything they did, if this was 1981, if this was 1991, maybe if it was 2001, Denny Hamlin's your winner. It's just a different type of racing, and the best in every category wins, and they never put a wheel wrong all week long.
Toyota's always the smallest camp when it comes to here, where they might change their strategy up when it comes to Talladega. Well, let's keep this one short and sweet. Between all of the finishes this weekend, ARCA, Trucks, Xfinity Cup, whichever one you want to pick, Jonathan, what was the best finish of Speed Weeks?
I thought Austin Dillon's move on Bubba Wallace in the second Daytona duel had me out of this computer chair here. I was on my feet screaming at the TV. I thought for sure he was going to wreck everybody, but he made it stick and got the win. So I'm going to go with AD.
You know what? That's a great one, because that and honestly, that may be the only finish at Daytona this week for me. The races ended. The 500 ended going into turn 3. The clash or shootout, whatever, you got to tell me what that is. The clash, the clash ended in the chicane, when those two guys got together. So there were endings to races, but there weren't finishes of races. But Austin Dillon finished that one off. So that's a great call. I like that one.
Well, the NASCAR Cup Series is staying in Daytona, and now we take to the road course. A guy who's become the road course ace when it comes to the Cup Series is Chase Elliott. He's looking to dominate, as he did in 2020 on the Daytona road course, but he's also looking to break a record set by Jeff Gordon. I caught up with the reigning Cup Series champ on how he's dominated those road courses and breaking Gordon's record.
Oh, yeah, baby, yeah! That's one of many right here.
Got his first win at this racetrack and has been dominant today. He's going to win again at the Glen. But trying to make history, the 9 of Chase Elliott. He's going to win.
Okay, Chase, I know you haven't given much thought to this, or maybe you have, but you need 2 wins to tie a friend of yours on the road course, consecutive wins, your buddy Jeff Gordon. You need 3 to pass it, and you've become the road course ace. So do you Do you want to pass that record? Do you want to match Jeff Gordon, or are you even thinking about that when it comes to road course racing?
I really don't think about it until you guys ask me about it. So no, it's not like I don't start the race and think, okay, like 2 more and we beat Jeff. Like, that's not my motivation by any means. Would it be really cool to do that? Of course. Any record you can set in a category of winning. I mean, there are records you don't want to set for sure, but any record in the winning side of things would be great to have. But no, it's not my motivation. It's not what makes me want to do good. I'd want to do good either way and want to try to win. So yeah, it'd be great if we get there, and if not, we'll try again.
You have 8 road courses, if my math is correct, in 2021. What has made the 9 camp so good at road courses?
The best one that I've been able to come up with in the few times I've been asked this, and I think it gets kind of forgotten amongst everything, is how good of a road racer Jeff was. My crew chief happened to work with Jeff Gordon throughout the end of his career, and I really think they had a nice baseline for me to step into. So when you're a young driver and you're coming into something new and coming into a new situation, learning new tracks, if you have a good starting point, it sure does help you learn faster. If your cars are driving well, it really helps you kind of hit the high spots. You know, Jeff was a good road racer. Alan's obviously a really smart guy, so they focused on a lot of the things that I think make road racing go. Another thing that gets a little lost in translation too is Alan has a road racing background coming from kind of the sports car side of things, has a lot of friends in that arena. You know, he's very, very well versed in that type of racing. So all those things added together, I think has made for a good combo, and I think I've gotten better at it as my years have clicked on. But everybody's always improving, and I think we'll have to be better than we were at the last one to win.
Has Jeff given you a hard time yet about breaking that record? Does he want you to break it?
He hasn't even, has never talked about it to me, so I'm not sure that he cares or not. I don't know.
Well, I'll make sure that he says something. Maybe he'll celebrate when you actually break it. You can stop talking about it.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, no surprise that Chase Elliott's the favorite going into Sunday's race. Kyle, will Chase dominate the Daytona road course? And let's take it a step further. Every road course, there's 7 of them in 2021.
Well, look, I know he's good at Sonoma, and I know he's good at Watkins Glen, but we're adding some different ones. And I know he's pretty good at some of those. Daytona is a different animal. Even though Charlotte likes to refer to itself as the Roval, Daytona was the big Roval a long time before Charlotte started doing their stuff. So what I saw, if I go back to the Clash, what I saw was Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex having speed on the banking. On the banking was where they made their speed. And yes, the way the race shuffled and the way the race played out, we ended up with Chase Elliott up front. But we ended up with Blaney on a little bit different strategy with good tires and ran him down and got around him. If somebody else, we know Blaney knows how to throw a race away in the last 4 or 5 laps. We've seen him do it a million times in this sport, whether it be Xfinity, Xfinity or Cup. But had it been someone else, would they have driven off from Chase? So I don't look to him to dominate at Daytona. I just don't. There are places like Watkins Glen, like the Roval, like Sonoma, that I look at him and I say, man, they've got something. I have no idea what it is. It's almost like traction control and anti-lock braking. I don't know what he has. Or he's just that good. And Bill Elliott was always good. His dad was really good. So I don't think he's going to go 7 for 7, but he could easily go 4 or 5 for 7.
Merriman, you're going to be a strong disagree with this one, I feel like.
I mean, until somebody else shows me something, I'm gonna stick with Chase. The Clash, I'm just going to put in a separate category. I mean, you don't know what those guys are doing underneath those cars. It's not a points-paying event. I know there's a purse at the end of it, but, it doesn't count towards the big goal. I think Chase could easily come away, at the end of the year with 7 playoff points, not just stage win points or whatever, playoff points that carry over each week from winning these 7 races. I think he does it. I think he makes history.
Okay, 2 things. Number 1, I know you're sitting at home right now in a Chase Elliott t-shirt, and I know that he's probably going to send you a new one right now. And I will make this claim. If he goes 7 for 7, I will come back here and wear just nothing but my underwear and a Chase Elliott t-shirt to do this show. Okay?
Please, Chase,
as long as we have blur effects back in the studio, we can blur everything out. I'll take that back.
All right, man.
Well, we've stepped over to another side of Studio 3. Let's hope this one has some good luck, because at the start of the season, you guys know what time it is. I ask for it every year. Championship 4 picks. Kyle, you get guest honors.
Okay, so my championship 4 picks are the same as ended up at last year at Phoenix. I don't see anything changing. I'm going to have to go probably 3 or 4 races into the season to see if someone else kind of breaks into the Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Brad K, and into that group, Kevin Harvick. Those guys are just the guys. And Kyle Busch, he can come back, don't get me wrong. And we could probably throw in a few other ones. But right now, I just think those 4. I don't see it changing.
All right, same for us, 2020. Merriman, who you got?
I'm going to say, the same 4 that we saw last year at Phoenix, with the caveat of either Keselowski or Logano being replaced by Kevin Harvick. I think Harvick's going to have another incredible year, and he's going to creep up on 10 wins. I don't think you're going to keep him out of Phoenix this year.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be kept out of Phoenix this year either. I don't know who I'm replacing, but I'm having Martin Truex Jr. in the Champ 4. I'll give you my Champ 4. I'm going to be like Kyle. Ask me in April.
Yeah.
All right, now let's have your winning pick for the Daytona Road Course. That is the next race on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Merriman, we'll start with you for this one.
Let me consult my T-shirt. I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. Like
Shocker.
I said, I think he's going to sweep the road courses this year. It's pretty lofty, but I think he's going to get it done. He's going to start this weekend at Daytona.
KP, no surprise
there.
there.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know why I came on this. I don't even know why I'm here. Okay, so I'm going to go with Martin Truex. I thought Martin Truex showed a lot of speed in the Clash. And then even though Meredith seemed to belittle the Clash a few minutes ago, where he said, oh, you can't go by the Clash. I don't know what those guys were trying. I know what they were trying. They were trying to win the race, and they were trying to do the best
the road course,
win the road course. So I look at it and I say, I'm going to go with Truex. I think he shows speed, and we know Truex can win on a road course.
Okay, I'm going to break the rules a little bit. I'm going to agree with KP. I like Martin Truex Jr., but I liked the speed during the Busch Clash, the race that doesn't matter. I like the speed of Denny Hamlin, a little bit different. So he might rebound from the 500.
There you go. So he would win 3 out of 4 then.
We'll
That would be good. That's
Maybe
good.
not.
That's good.
Well, I did a little shout out on my social media after that wreck on lap 15 of the race at the Daytona 500. You guys' fantasy lineups were just as screwed up as mine after that. Basically had our whole entire lineup. I also started a Backseat Drivers League. We have a NASCAR Fantasy League. Kyle, I know that you have an NBC League that you play along with. How was your fantasy game?
I was out. I was completely. The only thing I got right in the league that I play in is Ford won the race. That's all I got.
I didn't get that right.
That's it. That's all I've got. That's all. I got nothing. I think I scored the least amount of points. If you go by my points, I think I scored 18 points. That's all my guys were out. Yeah.
Merriman, you just have the same guys every week because you forget to set it. So maybe the first week went better for you.
Yeah, well, the thing that killed me is the bonus picks. The bonus picks really got me. I mean, I had Almirola in my garage. He went out early, but, everybody else, I mean, I didn't play a lot of big-name guys. AD was probably the biggest name I played, and he finished top 5. So I didn't do too bad. I'm ranked 14th in the league. I don't know how many people are out of 161 people. I'll take that.
Yeah, not bad odds. Well, you can play along with us this year on the Backseat Drivers Fantasy League. Enter NASCAR.com, search for the Backseat Drivers, or simply type in the link you see on the screen. Play for a chance to see your name here on the show, also bragging rights, and you can beat me, Kyle Petty, Jonathan Merriman, and the rest of the guests here on the crew. All right, guys, first episode of Backseat Drivers for the 2021 season is in the books. KP, thanks for joining you. I hope we didn't scare you off a little bit.
Great time. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Make sure to follow along all season long and tune in to the Daytona Road Course coming up this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox. We'll see you right back here in Studio 3 next week.